When I swear, I hear a whisper in my ear. I am here, right where you are, part of every mountain, part of every star. You are here, right where I am. Every breath you breathe, I am part of you, and I will always be. I am here. I am here inside of you, part of everything, part of all you do. You are here, you're here with me, part of everything that's felt, all that's heard and seen. I'm as close as the very breath you breathe, part of you, and I will always be. When it's too big to believe in, and I feel so alone, nothing's right, nothing's clear, and it's too hard to conceive it. God, are you really there? That's when I swear I hear a whisper in my ear. I am here, right where you are, part of every mountain, part of every star. You are here, right where I am, part of every ocean, every grain of sand. I'm as close as the very breath you breathe. I am part of you, and I will always be. I am here. 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 And I will always be.
We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire. water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Whoa, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Water make the river, river wash the mountain. Fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. Water make the river, river wash the mountain. Fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the Spirit, truly of the Spirit. Only can the Spirit turn the world around. Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life.
Running till my bones are aching, pushing past the point of breaking. The road is long, but I will make it, that's who I am. It's not this race, but how I'm running, not who I was, who I'm becoming. Steady on, I'll finish strong on this path. Every breath in me proclaims hallelujah. my strength. I'm never stranded, I'm not alone. Call it out like a siren of good and peace and joy resounding. Hear me now, I'm ringing out around the world. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Every breath in me proclaims hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Today, in every song I sing, in every part of me, in everything, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Every breath in me proclaims hallelujah, hallelujah,
Every age has its turn. Every branch of the tree has to learn to grow, find its way, make the best of this short-lived stay. Take this seed, take this spade, take this dream of a better day. Take your time, build a home, build a place where we all can belong. Some things change, some remain. Some will pass us unnoticed by. What to focus on, to improve upon, in the face of our ancient trials. Feels so clear, feels so obvious to each one on their own. But we're here together, weeping what time and what we have sown. We don't choose where we're born. We don't choose in what pocket or form. But we can learn to know ourselves on this globe in the void. Take this mind, take this pain, take this dream of a better land. Take your time, build a home, build a place where we all can belong.
That's the wonderful Antonio Lopez, everyone. We'll be hearing more of him in this service. So welcome to Columbine. We're centered in God. We celebrate a world of harmony, peace, and abundance for all. So please stand up. We're going to sing about love.
This is Lovety Love. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds great. So jump in wherever you feel comfortable. Happy and love is free, love is there for you and me. When there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, there is love. When there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love. Love, lovity love, when there's love, there is love. We're going to have a little help here, and Bonnie's going to give you a little coaching. So, when there's love, love, when there's love, when there's love, when there's love. Okay, here we go. When there's love. Love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, there is love. When there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, there is love. One more time, when there's love. Love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, there is love, there is love. Oh yeah, you're sounding good today. All right.
I invite Jeannie and the kids to come up.
Okay, all the kids can come up because I need you, because I get nervous up here by myself. So, yeah, come on up. Perfect.
Oh, look at that.
Good morning, Columbine.
I want one of those.
Yay, come on up. I got lots and lots of love. Okay, you ready? Oh, come on. You can stand right here with me. Stand right here. Me and Charlie. Thanks, Chloe. Okay. All right, so this is Valentine week. It's a really special, really exciting week. So we have a surprise for you guys. And you don't know what it is because it's a surprise. So we will be back in a while with our surprise. And one more thing. We are also looking for someone to work in our nursery. It's a paid position. It'll be during the service from 10 to 11. And if anyone is interested or knows someone that is interested, please let me know. That would be great. And I think that's all. So if you will bless us out, I was informed we're going to stay here instead of walking, which is a great idea. And then I'll hand the microphone back over. So go ahead and bless us out.
We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We see the Christ you are. And they get to sing the second joy song with us.
wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy, we let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace, we let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in. The sun shine in. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in. The sun shine in. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in. The sun shine in. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in. The sun shine in. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
Slow things down a little bit and prepare for prayer and meditation.
God in you, God in me, blessed Spirit, we are free. God in you, God in me, blessed Spirit, let it be. God in you, God in me, blessed Spirit, we are free. God in you, God in me, blessed Spirit, let it be.
Okay, so I invite us into a time of prayer. You gently close your eyes, take that deep breath, allow yourself to be in this flowing place of love. Sweet Spirit,
Spirit in me, Spirit in you. We are free when we can be awake to that knowing. That love's presence is all around us, within us, expressing through us and as us. That we are made of love, and love is longing to come forth from us, to be us. We are so grateful, sweet Spirit, when we can know that, when we can feel that, when we can be that love. That love that permeates every cell of our bodies, every space in our consciousness, and express from there, making a difference in everyone whose lives we touch. During this season for nonviolence, today's word is humility. It takes humility to know that we are but one of many on this planet, that we make mistakes, that we seek forgiveness, but that we also make a difference. We make a difference with our love, with our forgiveness, and with all that we came here to be in this lifetime. And so I invite you to share that love's presence with everyone on our prayer list and every prayer request in our prayer box in our front lobby, knowing that they too are loved. Those circumstances are also a call for love. Call for love. So I invite you now into a time of meditation where we align with that presence of love that's within us, that presence of love that is us. And at the end of our time in the silence, our music team will gently lead us out. For now, let's rest together in that knowing.
Blessed Spirit, we are free. God in you, God in me. Blessed Spirit, let it be.
And now we get to listen to Antonio again.
What if I told you the future is now? If we're only dreaming, then we'll never learn how. What if I told you the future is now? If we're only waiting, then we'll never learn how. When I first met you, we were still kids. Thought we had it all, then the can in our hand was a lid. Time goes fast, time goes slow. Better make friends with it, he's with us wherever we go. What if I told you the future is now? If we're only dreaming, then we'll never learn how. What if I told you the future is now? If we're only waiting, then we'll never learn how. When I first met you, every breath was for you. Now that I know you, I know this is true. Here we are we here? The intimate connection between our hopes, our dreams, our fears. What if I told you the future is now? If we're only dreaming, then we'll never learn how. What if I told you the future is now? If we're only waiting, then we'll never learn how. What if I told you the future is now? If we're only dreaming, then we'll never learn how.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Antonio. Good to have you back. Yesterday, I read a story about an older couple who were at a diner that they went to once a week for years. The husband's name was Paul, and he was looking at his wife, Elaine, and he noticed that her sweater was inside out. And he had been laying her clothes out for her in order and how she should put them on because she had Alzheimer's for a number of years. He realized he had to kind of maybe pay a little more close attention to that. And as they were sitting there waiting for the waitress, Elaine was trying to scrub a stain off the table, a stain that had been there for years. The waitress came over and said, "Hey, so good to see you, Paul and Elaine. Are you going to have the usual?" And he said, "Yes, we are, but today is a special day. You need to know it's a special day. It's our 57th wedding anniversary." And he said, 57 years ago, this beautiful woman here took a chance on a broke, balding man. And here we are. And so the waitress said, "Well, congratulations, and we just made some key lime pie, so we'll be sure to save you a couple pieces and give them to you on the house for an anniversary gift as you leave." And Elaine's still working on the table, trying to get that spot off. And the waitress says, "Do you want the usual, the Cobb salad and tomato soup?" And he says, "Yes, and here's your sweet tea." And the waitress starts walking away and comes back, and she says, "Oh, I forgot, we're out of tomato soup. We just ran out. But we've got chicken noodle." And Paul says to Elaine, "Honey, they're out of tomato soup. Do you want chicken noodle?" And she starts crying. And he says, "Well, how about a sandwich? How about something else?" And he shows her the menu, and she's just crying and working furiously on that spot on the table. And he says to the waitress, "I think we ought to just go." And here he throws a 10 on the counter, and the waitress says, "It's okay, let me pack up a couple pieces of pie for you, bring them out to your car." And Paul tries to help his wife out to the car, and they get settled. And on the way home, Elaine keeps asking Paul, "What day is it? What day is it?" And he says, "It's Wednesday." "Well, what day is it?" "It's Wednesday." And he knew what she was getting at because he had mentioned their anniversary, but he didn't want to upset her anymore because he knew that she had forgotten. And to him, he knew she had Alzheimer's, and so it wasn't a big deal. And so after the third time of him asking him what day it was, he says, "It's January 7th. And she says, "It's our anniversary." And he said, "Yes, it is, honey." They got into the house, and he got her settled, put a TV tray in front of her, turned on The Price is Right, went into the kitchen to look for some tomato soup. And as he's in the kitchen, everything's labeled, cupboards with plates, bowls, spoons, because she wanted to stay independent as long as she could. But she could no longer do the cooking. So he got in the cupboard and found a can of tomato soup, grateful that he found a can of tomato soup, and put it in the bowls. And as he was warming it up in the microwave, he heard piano playing from the living room. They always had a piano in their house because she was a music teacher. And he walks into the room, and she's playing Canon in D, which was his favorite song. He sits down at the bench next to her and watches her hands from muscle memory, just playing Canon in D. And he starts crying, and she stops and finishes the piece, and he says, "That's my favorite song." And she said, "I know." And as he's holding her hand and kissing her fingers, he says, he's imagining her walking down the aisle in a white dress, carrying some yellow daisies from their garden, because they wanted a simple service. And he says, "Happy anniversary, honey." And she's, "Happy anniversary, Paul. I love you." He goes, "I know you do." He goes, "And I love you." He goes, "Now how about some tomato soup?" And she says, "I really like chicken noodle." I love that story. I mean, it's funny at the end, but because it's a choice to love. It's a choice to stay with someone 57 years. It's a choice because life isn't always easy. It's a choice to love someone. And it takes courage to choose to love, to show up. Tuesday is Valentine's Day. And it's a great day to celebrate love, any kind of love, not just romantic love, but any kind of love. We should celebrate love. Love. We need it right now. There's so much hatred and anger and finger pointing and divide, and it takes courage to choose love in the middle of all that, in the middle of a storm. So stories such as this older couple at the diner that they went to are so heartfelt, so beautiful, because we remember that love is always possible. Love is always a choice. It's always there. You know, especially in this time of political polarization and ongoing pandemic recovery, to remember love is available, especially when we're stressed and divided. Tonight, a third of the country will watch the Super Bowl. About 100 million Americans will tune in to the Super Bowl, and some of them just for the commercials, right? How many just for the commercials? They're usually great commercials. Tonight is different with the commercials because there's going to be 2 Jesus ads. Did you know that? There can be 2 Jesus ads, and it's called He Gets Us. It's a campaign, He Gets Us. It started last spring, trying to bring more awareness to Jesus. And it's appealing to younger people. It's appealing to those that are spiritually open or spiritually curious. And it's bringing a message of hope and compassion and love to a society that is feeling, stressed out from the last few years. This message of unconditional love is so important. There was a study that Barna did that 75% of people say they want to grow spiritually, and almost half of people say they want to get to know Spirit or God more since the pandemic. The time is ripe for spirituality, for spiritual principles, for us to get deeper and look at these things in our lives. People are more open to learning about God. And teens are especially interested in learning more. But I don't want to trigger you with Jesus talk. I know some of you get really triggered when we talk about Christianity or Jesus. And in unity, just to be clear, in unity, we don't worship Jesus. We respect him, we appreciate his teachings, we consider him our way shower, our brother, somebody, instead of he gets us as if he's still here, he got humanity during his lifetime. He was a man that lived 2,000 years ago, and this is what unity teaches, that he showed us how to live a spiritual life in a tough time, during a difficult time. How to live beyond our comfort zones, how to step out, how to choose love over fear, how to choose love with courage. It took courage for Jesus to speak out against in the political landscape that he lived in with the Romans, to upset the apple cart. It took courage. He was showing them a different way of living, a different way of being that brought more joy, more peace, more love. In the world of finger pointing and blaming and shaming, we need this message of love because the blaming is happening everywhere, even in our spiritual centers. Unfortunately, I've heard people comment, how could this stuff be happening in our spiritual center? Aren't we spiritual people? Can't we just love each other and forgive and move on? How can this be happening here? Well, we don't live in a bubble. Here in Boulder, here at Columbine is not a bubble. We are a gathering place of people, and guess what? People bring their stuff with them. They bring their stuff. I bring my stuff. You bring your stuff. We all bring our stuff. And so there's going to be conflict at times. There's going to be drama at times. There's going to be stuff that happens. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in it. But the invitation is to choose love, to have the courage to choose love. It's our true nature, love. It's what we're made of, love. It's who we are, love. We're love. And it takes so much less energy to love than it does to hate. A lot less energy. And you'll sleep better when you choose love. Don't we all need a little more sleep? Ernest Holmes says this: love is within us. It cannot be destroyed. It can be ignored. To the extent that we abandon love, we will feel it has abandoned us. Denying love is our only problem, and embracing it is our only answer. Through the power of love, we can let go of past history and begin again. Love heals, forgives, and makes whole. Love heals. We're going to have a healing ceremony here on March 12th. We're bringing in a minister, a transitional minister, unity minister from Unity Worldwide Ministries, and he'll be here. His name is Steve Colliday. He'll be here on March 12th after the service. He'll give the talk and then do a healing ceremony. I hope most of you will stay for that. Love heals. Love heals. In the late 1800s, there was a man born, his name was Star Daly. He grew up in an abusive home, abandoned by his alcoholic father, abandoned emotionally, abused physically, abused verbally, taunted at school, became filled with hatred. And of course, that led to a life of crime. And he was a bank robber. He became known as a really good safe cracker. He was arrested twice as a teenager. He wanted people to feel intimidated by him. He wanted people to be afraid when he walked in the door. When he was in his early 20s, he was arrested for the third time. And he was so filled with hate that he just fought with everybody in prison. It got so bad that they had to put him in solitary confinement, which back in those days was not what it is now. He would be in an 8-by-8-foot cell. At 6 a.m., his hands were handcuffed to a bar above his head. His feet were handcuffed or cuffed to the bottom bar. And he would be like that for 12 hours. When he would be released at 6 p.m. from the handcuffs and given some bread and water. And he was consumed with hate towards his guards, towards his jailer, towards the judge that sentenced him. He had like 20 years. He'd been sentenced to 20 years. After about, not clear how long, maybe 10 or 15 days, after he had been like this for 12 hours and been released, his legs were so swollen when they released him, he just fell to the floor, stone floor, given his bread and water. The jailer left him there like that, and Star Daly had a vision. This is a true story. Had a vision of Jesus. And he had a vision of Jesus stepping behind a stone, coming from behind a stone, and just looking at Star and projecting love. And he held his eyes, he held eye contact with him, and he just had this love. So much love in this vision that Star felt the love, and it melted his hatred. He didn't say anything, but he started realizing there was a different way of being. There was a different way of being. He said it was like there was a plug at the bottom of his feet, and he unplugged it, and all the hatred just drained out of him. He started feeling love towards his jailers, towards the guards, towards the judge, towards his fellow prisoners. He was removed from solitary confinement and placed in a new cell, given some fresh clothes. And his cellmate was an older man who taught him the Bible. He said he only felt love. From that time forward, he only felt love. It was like something shifted in him. He started praying for his enemies, blessing them. He ended up getting released early, and he wrote 2 books. He swore he was never going to go back to his old ways, to his hatred, only love, projecting love. And everyone that he projected his love to converted. They all converted. The power of love. He wrote a book, which was his autobiography, called Released, and then he wrote another book called Love Can Open Prison Doors, which is on truthunity.net if you want to read it. I just read it over the weekend. It's fascinating how someone could be so filled with hate, and the power of love can shift it all from a vision. It changed his life by choosing love instead of hate. Changed his life. It takes so much energy to hold on to hate and resentment. Martin Luther King Jr. says this: "I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear." It is too great a burden to bear. It takes so much energy. Yesterday, I watched The Chosen, season 3, the season finale. Oh my God, it was powerful. It was so good. And there's so many Bible stories within that one episode. So Jesus had sent his apostles out 2 by 2, and so Andrew and Philip were sent, and they went to the Decapolis, it was called. It was a place where Jews and Greeks and Romans all lived, Gentiles all lived. And Andrew and Philip told the parable about the banquet where everybody sits at the same table. Well, people were appalled by that, and it caused fighting, and it caused a lot of conflict, and Jesus needed to come in and save the day. It turned out that ended up being the fishes and loaves story, feeding of the 5,000, that people came from all over. Jesus was there and speaking. And it's very powerful, but Jesus had to calm them down first. The Christ in us calms us down. The Christ in us, the Christ consciousness within us, which is in each one of us, is our calming center. It's where love dwells. And Jesus says several times during this episode, "Bring me your burdens, all you who are weary, and I will give you rest." Not I, Jesus, but I, the Christ. I, the inner Christ within each one of us, can give us that rest we need. With love. With love. It's exhausting to hate. It's exhausting to have resentments and hold on to that, because we have to hold on to it so tightly. Because it's not our natural state. Our natural state is love. Our natural state is peaceful. I won't tell you, because I want you to watch it. I won't tell you what happens in this last episode, season 3. Can't wait for season 4, but it's going to be a while. But the love that is there, the love that is just oozing off the screen when Jesus heals a man and he puts his arm on his shoulder and says, I know you. And he didn't, know him, but I know you. I know you. You are a child of God. You are love itself. And the love that's in the end of this episode between Jesus and Simon Peter, and between Simon and his wife, Eden, is amazing. Amazing, because we can just imagine that love. Because it's within us. So we can relate to that. It was a letting go of blame. It was a letting go of resentment. And there was just pure love, a return to center, a return to what's important. And that's love. In the Christian scriptures, you probably all have heard the story of the adulteress who was condemned to be stoned to death. And Jesus stops them by saying, any of you who have not sinned, throw the first stone. And of course, they all, one by one, walk away. And Jesus says to the woman, are there no condemners here? Is there nobody here that condemns you? And she said, I guess not. And he said, well, then I don't condemn you either. Sin no more. Sin in unity is missing the mark. Missing the mark is being separate from our source, being separate from love, being separate from love's presence by hate. Sin no more. Don't be separate from spirit. Stay in that loving space as long as you can. There's a poem by Edwina Gately in the book Soul Sisters about this woman who was accused of adultery. It says, Soul sister, woman freed by grace, soften our eyes, melt our heart, and loosen from our fingers the stones we have gathered and stored in our souls. What stone are you carrying today? Is it meant for you or someone else? What's the intention with that stone? And can you feel yourself loosening those stones that you're carrying? You're invited to lay it down and choose love. Courage. It takes courage to let go of the hate. Are you willing to have the courage to do that? At the beginning of that episode of The Chosen, can I have that book? I forgot to bring that up here. Thanks. They show King David and his wife, and there's somebody reciting one of the Psalms to him, a new psalm that he had just written. And it's Psalm 77. And they recite it in the beginning of the episode, and then again at the end, we hear it. And this psalm is one where the speaker is filled with anguish, filled with doubt, filled with hatred, filled with just this sense of so much heaviness. And he says, my soul yearns to be comforted. And he works through it, as we have to do in our lives. Work through the stuff that comes up for us. Work through it and get to that place of love. Because at the end of this psalm, it's a perfect example of how we do this in life. How we bring our troubles to that inner self of ours, that higher self, that love that's within us, which can heal anything. And it says at the end of this psalm, you stand beside us as we walk through our fears to the path of wholeness and love. Though our footsteps are unsure, you send us the counselor as a guide to lead us on the road to peace, truth, and love. That's what we're invited to do. To know there is a comforter, not somebody outside of us, but within us. That comforter that can lead you to peace, truth, and love. May you find that within yourselves this week. Namaste. Peace be with you.
New warrior needs no sword, for her heart is made of stillness. Trusts no borders, claims no flames, just expands her lungs with fullness. The weapons that we wield are compassion and insight. It's not a battle between the good guys and the bad guys. We all contain the shadows and the light. The new warrior lays down her pride, opens her heart to listen, uses her quiver of words carefully, a century on her cushion. The weapons that she wields are compassion and insight. It's not a battle between the good guys and the bad guys. We all contain the shadows and the light. Take off your armor, let your light shine. Break down the barriers that are only in your mind. Take off your armor, let your light shine. Break down the barriers that are only in your mind. They're only in your mind. Only in your mind. They're only in your mind. Only in your mind. The heat of compassion can burn us up. Gotta temper it with cold wisdom. From that space, we can understand the radical interdependence of our systems, the weapons that we wield are compassion and insight. It's not a battle between the good guys and the bad guys. We all contain the shadows and the light. We all contain the shadows and the light.
Thank you, Antonio. And Antonio has a table out in the lobby if you would like to see some of his. He actually has vinyl out there, folks, and some other cool things. So I wanted to just share a super quick story. My mom, yesterday I was near my mom's grave site, and I don't visit it very often because to me she's everywhere. But I took some flowers, and I looked down in the snow, and I found 3 heart shapes in the snow within 5 feet of her grave marker. And I thought, this is my mom. I mean, I find hearts in nature all the time, and that just was beautiful. So in the spirit of love, I share that. I am going to blitz through the announcements and the offering because the children have something special for us in a moment. So let's start with our offering blessing. Our purpose statement. We commit to increasing our spiritual awareness, diversifying our community, manifesting our highest potential, and positively impacting the world. And we all can support this financially as well as other ways. And this is your opportunity now in the sanctuary to do that. So let's say our offering blessing. God's love has always met and will always meet all my needs. I give freely, I receive abundantly, and I am grateful. And hello to our online viewers. Let's turn around and give a wave. And this week I got a note in the mail, we got a note in the mail, and it included a message that said, "We love it when you wave to us." It's someone that views us online, so hello. So summer camp registration is ongoing. It's July 17th through 21st this year. Go ahead. Prayers for Columbine. Today after the service at 11:15, we'll regather here if you would like to do a healing prayer together. The men's retreat is upcoming in March, and Kevin will be in Foss Hall with a table with more details for you. There's an affirmative prayer class that will be held on Saturdays in March. Retired Unity minister, Reverend Brad Langdon, will host that for us, and it will be the 4 Saturdays in March. And for all of these things, the details are in your bulletin. Oh, and I should say, the men's retreat link in the weekly update, the gremlins got to it. It's not working, but the one in today's bulletin is working properly. And then, as Reverend Sue mentioned, we have a healing and self-reconciliation ceremony on Sunday, March the 12th, after the service. And there will be time for you to grab a little something to eat in between. And there are 2 other quick announcements. We are invited to the NAACP Boulder County Nashville African American Wind Symphony next Sunday. This is a free concert. It starts at 3 o'clock in Mackey Auditorium up in CU. And Theo, would you wave your hand? He has more information about it. If you want to find out, he has little flyers. And this is one of the ways that we can put our money where our mouth is in terms of diversity. And then also, another quick announcement, we will have an Easter choir, and there's a sign-up sheet on the welcome table out in the foyer. And now, will the children please come up? Well, are you getting a special delivery? You can put your hand up if you have not received one yet and would love to be gifted. Let's make sure Antonio gets one, and maybe save one for Steve and Kevin as well. And Bonnie, pardon me, you snuck up behind me. And Bonnie. This is just a little something special that the YFM put together for all of you to let you know that the love goes both ways. Thank you. And parents, sign your children out up here instead of downstairs. And now, who are our prayer chaplains for today? Lydia is here. And Gretchen. Thank you so much. They'll be available to pray with you after the service. And let's now sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, there is love. There is love, love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love, there is love, there is love. One more time. And there's love, love, lovity love, when there's love, love, lovity love.